Well, hello. Carrying on with our ongoing conversation about the major differences between turnaround shutdown management and PMBOK project management, I want to talk a little bit about permitting times and logistics of permits. So, in a brownfield turnaround major maintenance project situation, and we've touched on this earlier on, the work site itself remains under the control at all times of the operations team and the operators specific to the parts of the facility that we are trying to work in. How much time are you allowing in your schedule for permitting logistics? So let me tell you, the most successful I ever was in not having permitting delays break my schedule was when I had the planners and schedulers build 2 hours per into the job packages. And believe me, I took a lot of heat over that. I took a lot of heat from a lot of people. There was a lot of people that had absolutely nothing to do with my work that felt the need to speak up and call it out. And it was enough hullabaloo that my own leadership began to question my judgment as well, due to all the non-associated people that were offering unsolicited opinions. But in the end, I held the course, and for the first time ever, my turnaround schedule was not demolished in the second day by permitting delays. 2 hours per. I arrived at that number because in the two previous outages that I'd managed in the same facility, we were using 20 minutes. And even at 20 minutes, there were plenty of people in management and leadership had huge objections. No way does it take 20 minutes to issue a permit. These being the same people, of course, that put the permitting standards in place. So in any event, in this particular facility, no word of a lie. If an operator is doing his job the way that the safe work permitting practice is written, it's easy 20 minutes on average to write a permit. That's just a fact. And it's a fact that was put in place by the very most senior leadership. So that solved the argument about the 20 minutes. But 20 minutes is an operator in a unit when one work team comes and wants a permit. It's not first thing in the morning when 8 different permitting teams show up in your permit shack wanting permits. There is no resource in our entire processing industry more rare and more difficult to replace than the operators in the facilities. It is the one work group where the pat off the cuff answer you hear in boardrooms from people that spend 0 to no time out on the iron, oh, just hire more. Just hire more. Anybody that is speaking with knowledge about how the processing industry works is fully aware how ridiculous that is. These are complex facilities, and the work is never of higher risk than when we're on site. So there's logistics. You have, X number of operators. Maybe you can work it out. Let's just put some numbers. Say you got 2 or 3 operators per unit, and you've got a crew of 1,000 men going out in 2s, 4s, and 6s to attack the work. It is not unreasonable to expect that there's going to be some backlogs in getting to work in the morning. So anyway, back to what I did, how I arrived at my numbers. When it was accepted that it was 20 minutes and that was all you could do, I created a work order at the beginning of outage, at the beginning of pre-work actually, where it takes a lot of cooperation with your GC and your contractors, and it's not perfect. Some stuff slips through, But anytime I had a work team that waited more than 20 minutes to get a permit, I had them transfer that time, instead of on the work order they were on, onto this other work order that I created for the specific purpose of catching permitting wait times. I did that for two outages, and I came to the conclusion from studying my own records that if I want to give my scheduler even the slightest hope of building a schedule that'll survive day one, then I needed to raise my permitting time. Now, the way it worked out on that final outage, when I used 2 hours, I did have a small percentage of overrun even on that, because I kept that other bucket that I'd created previously, and now instead of anything over 20 minutes, everything over 2 hours went there. And there was still, there's quite a significant amount of money there, even at the 2 hours thing. But the schedule itself was much more able to realistically follow the work. So that's something that I don't know how many, if you somehow ended up in our line of work, straight out of PennBach greenfield work, and this is your first outage, and you're used to crews that just come in and go to work because they're on their own recognizance and they run the site, you might want to go talk to some of your senior operators and find out what realistically permitting looks like in your facility during a total outage. Find out from the people that know, the operators that wrote the permits in the last total outage. It's amazing to me always how often people want to argue about this is that and that about all of our work is sitting in boardrooms instead of out on the iron with the operators, where we can just move straight to the truth and move on. So permitting, if you think that you're going to put 1,000 men to work in a facility every morning and you're going to get permits out 10 minutes or 15 minutes or even 20 minutes a piece, either your permits are not meeting the mandate, or you're not actually getting those permits out that fast. I mean, yeah, the first people at the permit desk probably get it out that fast. But when they got there, 4 other people got behind them. So if that operator keeps working at peak efficiency, the second people will get their permit in 40 minutes. The third people will get their permit in 60 minutes, and so on and so forth. It's just straight arithmetic. So take my word for it. If this is the first total outage event that you've managed, you need to put a lot of thought into what you're allowing in your work plans and your schedule for just the permitting piece. Go talk to the operators. Talk to people that have worked outages in this particular facility. You'll find out what you actually need to do, and it's advisable that you do it, whether it's swimming upstream or not. Have a nice day. Thanks for listening. On behalf of the NAVEX team, execution with excellence.